I did, you know, not on Bang. Bang was actually pretty easy. I did a video game called Delta Force Black Hawk Down. And it was 4 hours of screaming and death and all that stuff. And when I did Harry in Gungrave, there's a scene in his last episode where he just killed his brother and he has this complete personality breakdown in the elevator. He screams out his brother's name and I actually heard it pop. Just go, oh. Yeah, and it hurt. And I didn't have a voice for like 3 days after that. So yeah, it happens, but it's not good for you. You can really get hurt doing that. Yes?
Out of the characters you voiced, which one would you cosplay as and why?
The characters I voiced, which one? I wouldn't cosplay any of them because I look stupid in a costume.
If you look
I'm sorry? Oh, okay. There's actually a character. Thank you. There's a character I did in Bossra 3. I actually forgot his name, but he's a cook and he carries a wok on his back. And he's really wussy, wumpy, you know, he's whining and crying the whole time, and he keeps winning fights. And that's the guy I would cosplay. I just like the walk on the back part of things, so. Because then I can, you know, cook when I'm done. So, any more questions? Hope our guys get here soon. Yes. How am I today? I'm fine. It was a really weird day. I woke up and I got taken down to the local TV station. I was on Good Day Sacramento this morning. With Vic and Vic Mignogna and Janet Varney, we all went there and we did a really weird promo. If you got a chance to see it, they cut to you and they say, okay, so wait, you know, they said it's called a smile and wave. When they're promoting what they're going to do after the commercial, and they had a camera on us. Well, they had just run a segment on baby yoga. Who knew there was such a thing? They did baby yoga. Not pregnancy, this is with actual babies. And so these babies are all on the ground, and so all of us, all the actors, we decide, okay, we're just going to do that. So when they cut to us with a smile and wave, we're all on the ground doing it. It was so embarrassing. It's going to end up on YouTube now.
Oh, this is good.
Yes?
favorite character you voiced?
Favorite character I voiced? I have a couple or three, because Rick Hunter from Robotech, because that was my first. Lupin the Third, because he was just so fun. He was just so fun to do. And Harry from Gungrave, because it was my first villain, and it was so fun and so hard to do, and it was a real challenge because he had to be likable and yet he was a murderer. So how do you make that happen? So those are my favorites. Yes.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever been hired to do any celebrity impersonations?
No. Thank goodness. Yes. Will I impersonate? Do I know? Do I have any voices? I don't even know who I tried. Lady Gaga? Paparazzi? I don't know. Yes. Gilbert Gottfried, I can do it. Only I don't want to get fired like he did. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Is there any information you can reveal to us about the game and what we can expect from it?
Not without getting sued. No, I can tell you, Danganronpa, the first of those two games. The first of them comes out in March sometime, and if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a battle royale meets Hunger Games, but it's funny and dark and twisted. So, and it's got a great. And it's got younger kids, yeah, but we have really good voice actors on it, you know, that are on it, and they gave us a great cast, and the script is really good, and it was a lot of fun to do, and then we got to do another one, so which will come out later in the year, but be watching for it. I think there's a trailer up on the game site right now about it. So.
Related, would watching the Danganronpa anime spoil the game?
I don't know, because I haven't seen the Danganronpa.
Yes.
Would it?
Yes.
It would. So the answer is yes from the expert over here. Yeah, Funimation's got it, so I don't know if they're going to dub it or not.
Thank you.
Yeah. They are. Well, I know they licensed it, but they may license it just to put it out as a sub. So, yeah. Yes.
What's the weirdest character you've ever voiced?
Wow.
Tough question.
Wow. Weirdest character I've ever voiced. What was the game? What was the show? It was. Oh shoot. It might have been in Chobits. I played this really weird the scientist with a big lift. And he was just a weird guy, and he was very funny, and I made the director laugh. That's all I care about. So. Yes?
Out of everything you've done, what would you like to do more of?
Everything. No, look, as an actor and a director, one of the reasons I like this business is because I get bored. And every job is different, everyone is different, and I get to do different things. I've done everything from acting to directing. I produced Power Rangers, I wrote for it. This summer, hopefully, cross my fingers, all goes well, I'll be directing a feature film, a psychological thriller. Not anime, not for kids. And I'm just waiting on the celebrity to see if she'll say yes, and if she says yes, we get our money, we get to do it. So I like to do everything. I'd like to do a little more original animation. I have a series out called Yesido. It's a Christian series where I essentially play Jesus, but they're all birds, and it's a musical. And it's really beautifully animated, and it's wonderful. I'd like to do more of that sort of stuff. It's called Yesido, I-E-S-O-D-O. Yeah. So yes. Being a singer, I tend to do scales. I'll do scales, or find a good song that's right in the middle of my range so it doesn't strain my voice low or high, and I sing along with that, not too loud. It's just a warm-up. But that's usually what I use. Yes?
Could you sing something in character?
With a scientific lift. Paparazzi. If you really want to hear me sing, and you're from San Francisco, no, I can't do it here. But I'm actually open on Thursday, this coming Thursday, at the Bindlestiff Theater in San Francisco. I'm doing a role in the musical Cabaret, and we're running for 2 weeks. So, you want to hear me sing? I sing 2 songs in that show, and you get it at the tribeproductions.org is where you find the tickets, and if you use the promo code Cabaret SF, you get half price.
Who do you play?
Do a song?
Who do you play?
Which two? I do a song called Married, and It Wouldn't Please Me More. This is sometimes called a pineapple song. So, yeah. It's about a pineapple, yeah. It makes sense in the story. It wouldn't make sense. Okay, you're out of control. So, okay, our guests have arrived, so we can get started. So I'm going to turn this over to Jeff, who's going to explain what the heck we're going to do here, because none of us really know.
All right, give a hand for Tony Oliver for stalling us out. All right, so the idea behind this panel is to show what these people actually do in a recording booth. More specifically, when they do prelay stuff, which is when they're all together and they can bounce off each other. This is called a cold reading. I have a script for them that they've never seen before, and I'm going to pass it out to each and every one of them as soon as they get up here.
All right, I'm leaving.
Oh, you'll have fun, don't worry. Yeah, sure. We have 2 other guests of honor here today. Give it up for Mr. Steve Downs. Okay, so we have the voice of Master Chief. Now we have the mocap of Master Chief. Give it up for Mr. Bruce Thomas. And in casting this panel, I decided to include some relatively new blood. So you're going to see some new, younger voice actors. One of these voice actors actually won AX Idol 2008. Give it up for Miss Caitlin Chang. And our final panelist is someone who has been tabling with me and Tony all weekend. He's actually a rising star in the voiceover world. He's doing a lot of stuff. Give it up for Mr. Alan Lee. Alright guys, so here's the drill. You're going to read War of the Worlds. I'm going to hand you the scripts, and then I'm going to cast you.
Unseal the envelope.
And the winner is...
Oh, so that guy did that.
Test.
This guy's motion capture.
Hello, testing, 1, 2, 3, wow.
Everything.
In case you couldn't tell, there were supposed to be 6 people. We're going to try it with 5, because that's how we roll. And because not everyone else is available. But these guys are talented enough, and I trust them. Anyway, now on to the casting. Tony, congratulations, you're Orson Welles. Steve, you're announcer number 1.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank my mom and dad.
Bruce, you're announcer number 2.
Yay!
Alan, you're announcer number 3. And Alan, you will also be playing Phillips. Because I'm stumbling right now, I actually forgot to give him stuff to mark their scripts with. Oh, you do? Good. Always prepared. More than I am. Thank you, Tony. Okay, the role of Pearson will be played by Steve Downs. There's a policeman with 1 line. Alan, you're playing that. Matt, there's a character named Wilmuth. Bruce, you're that.
Who?
Wilmuth.
Wilmuth.
Is that a few? He's a few pages down.
And the sneezer is... Ask himself.
Okay, now this next one's interesting. It's just a line that says voices. That can be all of you. It's essentially Walla, so go crazy. Even though there is actual dialogue, you can say the dialogue, you can improvise it. I don't care, have fun.
I'm sorry, which one is it?
Voices.
Voices.
Yeah.
It's literally Walla. Okay. Okay, there's another role called Sniff.
Now there's an announcer that's not...
Oh, there is?
Page 13.
That, I believe, is announcer 1. I think there might have been an error in the script.
She's the
I'm sorry. There's another role called McDonald. Tony, you will be playing McDonald. There's a role that's basically an army captain. Bruce, you're the army captain. It's just called captain on script. There's a secretary. Caitlin, you're the secretary.
That's racist.
What, to be the Secretary of State?
Moving on. Officer number 1, Alan. Gunner, Caitlin. No. Officer number 2, Steve. Commander, Tony. And since there's 5 of you, you will each be an operator. Tony, you will be operator 1. Steve, you will be operator 2. Bruce, you will be operator number 3. Caitlin, you will be operator number 4. Alan, you will be operator number 5. And there's one final role that ends the script. It's called Stranger. Bruce, you're the stranger.
Now, I'm sorry, what was my third one? The soldier, what was the name of the soldier? Or the soldier like that? Because I couldn't find it.
Which one?
Wilma?
Captain.
Wilma.
Yeah, it's just Captain.
Age 12. Captain. Captain Kirk?
You can be whatever captain you want him to be.
No?
He could be Captain, Doctor, Professor, something.
We're going to need a lot of Captain Morgan after this panel.
I had too much last night.
Let's give them a moment to mark up their scripts, and when they're done, I'll tell them to go, and we'll watch the magic
Isn't
unfold.
this fun watching us do this? Yeah.
Highlight stuff!
So we actually do this before we get into the booth, but yeah.
Sorry about that.
Is it football?
I'm excited to hear it too. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Couldn't pick the Jack Benny show.
I want to do something more dramatic. Maybe next time we'll be more comedic. All right, and as soon as everyone's ready, let's start. You have the first line, Tim? You have the first line, answer one?
I have the first one. Commander, was that considered captain?
Captain, yeah.
Hang on.
Around the world. We'll all be good. Oh, that's hard to read. Do we have music?
Take her off.
You wouldn't want that.
Oh, Captain, page 12.
Okay. Ready? Set. And
Action.
the Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air in The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Mercury Theater and the star of these broadcasts, Orson Welles.
Good night. It's another fact. We now know that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man's and yet as mortal as his own. We now know that as human beings busied themselves about their various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied, perhaps almost as narrowly as a man with a microscope might scrutinize the transient creatures that warm and multiply in a drop of water. Who wrote this? With infinite compliance, people went to and fro over the earth about their little affairs, serene in the assurance that their domination, I can't read this, the assurance of their dominion over this small, spurring fragment of solar driftwood, which by chance or design man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space. It's the longest sentence I've ever read. Yet across the immense ethereal gulf, minds that our minds as ours, what? Are to the beasts in the jungle, intellects vast, cool, unsympathetic, regarded this earth with envious eyes, and slowly and surely drew their plans against us. In the 39th year of the 20th century came the Great Disillusionment. It was near the end of October. Business was better. The war scare was over. More men